What is good? What is really good, my people? It is UK. Trot brother dr.blick, the darkest man around. And today, guys, I'm here with MrNinjaStar. But before we start this video, we got to address this sad situation that has happened. So I'm gonna give it over to Ninja to explain the situation. So yeah, go ahead, Ninja.
Unfortunately, I don't know if you all have heard about this, but recently, like, I think it was only, yeah, it was on August 3rd, Jack and a few of his other friends in this area. Jack's a little American kid, always so happy, very, enjoys Minecraft, loves Pokemon, just being a kid. He seems like a great guy, and then, he got into a car accident. Unfortunately, that really does suck because there was some stuff that happened, and we know car accidents, that they can really be impactful, and he's in the hospital, some stuff went on, and it's definitely not easy, and also considering that, America, you kind of got to pay for healthcare here and everything, so it's definitely is hard on not only the family, but for a lot of, Jack's close friends, everything like that. So, luckily though, the mother of Jack has, like, Jack's okay right now. He's not too crazy. He's getting a little better. He's woken up. He's able to walk, everything like that. He's still in the hospital though, and what they're asking is to basically give like a little donation thing. They have a GoFundMe, which I think Blick will link in the description below or comments, whatever. And you can donate if you want to just help Jack, help his family, anything like that. And yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, so guys, make sure you try it and support. If you can't, then that's fine. We just want you guys to try and support and just spread it around. Just show it to as much people as you can, to people that can support and to people that are willing to help. But just at least spread it around if you can't donate, because spreading it around and getting the message across is also as good as donating in this case and with this scenario. But anyways, today's video is going to be a prediction video for the next chapter of One Piece. Obviously, if you read this chapter of One Piece, you guys would know that it was absolutely hype. So I'm gonna give it to Ninja. I'm gonna give it to Ninja. So, okay, Katakuri versus Luffy. Do you think? Are you in the impression that Katakuri can really copy every single technique that Luffy can do, but do it better? And also, do you think that Katakuri, or should I say, do you think Luffy will have a transformation at some point in the line to take down Katakuri? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I remember when I was talking to you earlier about this before we started recording, it's basically like mochi is not the same thing as rubber. Now, as we've seen, they're very similar, the whole stretchy mechanic, the fact that Katakuri can actually kind of inflate it in a sense and then put armament hockey over it, kind of mirroring Elephant Gun. We saw, that really dope clash between each other, and ultimately Katakuri won because he's a little more experienced with his Delphi, he's a little more older than Luffy, and everything like that. So of course, Katakuri is gonna have a little more, is Luffy's fruit but better, and I think he even said that it was like, I have your devil fruit abilities and I can even do them even better. So if you really think about it though, mochi is not really the same thing as rubber. They're similar because Luffy is using similar techniques that Katakuri can also do, but at the same time, mochi is not the same thing as rubber. Mochi, Blick, like, correct me if I'm wrong on this, it's basically like a sweet Japanese Japanese type candy or whatever, and it's stretchy, as we all know, but it's still food, it's still sweet, it still has the proper properties of regular food. And rubber, it's completely different. It can still stretch, there's that, and I guess it can still sort of inflate depending on how you do it, but at the same time, it's different. With this fight that's going on right now, I feel like Luffy will actually have something, maybe like a new transformation, maybe like a new form of gear, where it can't really be imitated by Katakuri, because Katakuri is probably gonna have his limits, and that's kind of the case with almost every single substance. Every substance has their limits, and Katakuri, there's no way he can do Gear Second. Let's be real, because Gear Second, it only really works with Luffy because it gets the blood flowing, it gets everything like that sent to the right body. Like, right parts of the body, first of all. And Luffy, because his whole body's made of rubber, he can take that. Katakuri, when he has a whole body made of, like, this little stretchy rice substance, yeah, that's probably not gonna work. But he, he was able to mimic Gear Third, and I feel like with Luffy, I feel like Katakuri, it's kind of debatable if you can do Gear 4th. It's definitely more likely that Gear 2nd, but I don't know. I really don't feel that's gonna happen. But Luffy will, in my eyes, gain something, like show off a new technique, show off a new form of Gear 4th, where Katakuri can't mimic it, and maybe Luffy will end up winning the battle. Who knows? I've rambled on long enough about this, Blake. What are your thoughts?
Like, there's one thing that people need to keep in mind is the way Katakuri absorbed the attacks. Did you notice that his body was like going into like, so the best way I could describe it, his body was going mushy when he was taking some of Luffy's attacks. So it's like he was absorbing it, but he was absorbing it in a different way that Luffy would absorb the attack if he got hit at him with his rubber. And that is a major factor, because not only does that show how different it is, it shows that there is a difference. And the fact that there is a difference means that Luffy needs to do something that Katakuri cannot do, something that makes him uncomfortable. Like I said, styles make fights, and since styles make fights, being awkward is not necessarily a bad thing. You gotta do something to make him uncomfortable. I'm not sure if Luffy has that technique yet, or he has something like that to make Katakuri feel uncomfortable, because for the most part, that's the reason why he beat Cracker. Cracker was uncomfortable, he was out of his comfort zone, and Luffy was fighting him in a really awkward way. That's how he beat him. He was fighting him in a really awkward way. And being awkward in One Piece is okay. Like, Doflamingo wasn't expecting 4th Gear to be that powerful. He doesn't look like he's gonna be brutal, but the way 4th Gear fights is awkward. Like, it's awkward to combat against. And that's what Luffy needs. Whether he's gonna get a new gear, who knows? Whether he's gonna get another variation of 4th Gear, who knows? We don't know what Luffy has in store. But at this rate, Luffy cannot be doing these basic ass attacks, because if they're not gonna work on people like Fujitora, what makes you think it's gonna work? It's gonna work. Actually, wait, if they don't work on Doflamingo, what makes you think it's gonna work on Katakuri? Like the strongest out of the commanders. Like, they've confirmed it. He's the strongest out of the commanders. And I'm still in the opinion that it's not impossible for Luffy to defeat him. I'm still in the opinion that Luffy still has a chance. He's just, this is more so the warm-up segment, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
because you guys know how Oda is. He likes to warm it up, like they do in Dragon Ball. How like they have the whole warm-up session, and then it's gonna be them going all at it. Because at this moment in time, it looks like Luffy's been going in and out of 2nd Gear. It's hard to tell because it's not colored, so yeah, we don't really know. So it looks like he's going in and out of it. But if he's in his base or he hasn't tried it, that you already know that he's not going in, and he's not going full pelt yet. But whether Katakuri does have some hidden form, that'll be interesting to see. And whether Luffy has something that can bring him up to Katakuri's level, that'll be interesting to see as well. But I gotta ask you this: Do you think Pedro is dead?
Do I think Pedro is dead? First of all, I'm just gonna get this little opinion out of the way before anyone's like, "Oh, Ninja, you're biased. Stop trying to do anything." But basically, though, I kind of want Pedro to be dead, because I understand, you know, like, you all love Pedro. I love Pedro as well. But I think just the impact of a death, and we've seen the impact of deaths in One Piece. And they have such an everlasting impact on people. Like, we see several times in flashbacks, you know, at least like one person dies or something happens to them or anything like that, and that's what makes her a more tragic, more interesting character, anything like that. And you could say, like, you know, that's what happened with Ace as well. When Ace died, that really did impact Luffy, and when Whitebeard died, that kind of did impact other pirates as a whole, some of the worst generation members. And I feel like if Pedro dies, it's going to create more of that impact. Because when Jinbei gives this speech, like, yeah, we're going to honor his sacrifice, everything like that, you can't just say, oh yeah, he was alive this whole time. No, you just can't do that. It's not right. I love Oda, but no, there's no way he can do this. And it just flows a little too well. And I think, because I remember Luffy said, like, at the very beginning of the series, now it's nothing like too concrete, but Luffy said at the beginning of the series, I want, like, I don't know, like 10, 11 crew members on my team, on my crew. And I don't think Pedro, like, I like Pedro, but I just think that Kara joining and then Jinbei joining, then maybe, like, who knows, maybe one other in the future joining. I think that's a better way to go about it, because, I mean, you know, I like Pedro, everything like that, but I just feel like him creating him like dying as a whole is more of an impact for Carrot to join the crew, and that's why I just don't feel like Pedro is alive. Now I understand, you know, like actually no, I'll just let Blick go because I think he has a good point for why Pedro.
Yeah,
is not
like okay, like I'm in the opinion of that Pedro's alive. My reason is due to the fact of what Luffy said in the previous chapter, not the chapter that's come out, the one before that. Luffy said that we won't be able to face Pedro the same way, and since he said that, that means that could be Oda hinting at us that Pedro isn't dead. And not only that, if you do not see a body of someone, if you don't see them die, like physically, like knowing Oda, they're not dead. If you don't see them die, if you don't see where they died and how they died, they're not dead. And I have a feeling, and I just thought about it when you just said it. What if Pedro shows up on the ship? Do you know how they got away from him, and what's his name? The guy that lost his arm. I can see his face. Yeah, Parasparrow. Like how he lost his arm, like how all these people were able to get away. What if Pedro was like somehow I can't really say how he got there because we don't know where Pedro is, so we can't really say how he got into the situation of being on the ship. But him being, what if there was a way of him actually getting onto the ship and then sacrificing himself trying to protect the rest of the crew? Well, what if something like that happens? That would be a major twist. That would be a good way to send him off. Like, see, like that would be more of an incentive for a character to join the crew because you saw him die right in front of them. Like something like that could happen. And frankly, with the way things are going, with that portion of the story, like I categorize it into portions because you got what Sanji's doing, you got what Luffy's doing, and then you got what the rest of the crew are doing there. So in that portion, I have a feeling that something has to happen for them to get away from Big Mom. They're not fighting. They can't. Like, that's a losing battle. They're not fighting. They can't. They're like, that's impossible. There's no point. So something's got to happen. Something's got to happen to make things awkward, because it's not about being stronger. It's not about being faster. It's about making things awkward and uncomfortable at this point, because at this point the Straw Hats are in a bad position. The only person that's in a decent position to save the day is literally Sanji and Lola's sister and Puddin. Those are the only people that can get Big Mom out of that trance and actually get them away. Or Pedro could be a distraction and could help people run away while they're on the crew or something. Or maybe Pedro is actually dead. Nobody knows. We haven't seen Pedro physically dead. It's kind of all over the place what I'm thinking. But with Sanji and them not trying to build the cake, there's a possibility that they could actually get away from Big Mom. Now when you think about it, if you were to structure everything, go fort by fort, you can kind of see that happening. But Ninja, I got a question for you. So how do you see the chapter panning out? Like, what is going to be the main focus on the next chapter? Because this chapter was kind of seeing what's happening there, seeing what's happening there, and seeing what's happening there. Like, it was split up into 3 parts.
Yeah.
We even got to see where Prometheus and Zeus were.
Yeah.
So what do you think is gonna happen? How are things gonna go down in this chapter?
I think I'm still with the mindset the whole kick out is still gonna go on for a few more chapters, and I think a lot of other people can agree with me there. It's gonna be, I can tell, maybe at a little similar format. Now, I don't think it's gonna be like as evenly split as this one was. This one, if I had to just scale numbers around, it would probably be like maybe like 40%. Freaking not even, but like a good portion of the chapter was the stuff involving the crew. I'm not even gonna bring numbers in. A good portion of that was just with the crew, like Jinbei just telling them, hey guys, we gotta man up now, we gotta just get this over with. Until we get out of Big Mom's territory, we're not safe here. And then everything on down, we saw Big Mom. That already did take up a good chunk of the chapter. And then the next little bits were just basically Sanji, Pudding's bipolar attitude, Chiffon, and then freaking Pound, I believe that was his name, trying to catch on. It was a little bit there, not really all that much, kind of the lesser of the 3 parts, but it was still there. And the last bit was Luffy versus Katakuri, which I don't think that was as long as the crew bit. Was it, Blick? Or
I would say, out of everything, I would say that was the shortest part. That felt the shortest part to me. Maybe it was because it was just pure fighting rather than speaking, but it felt like the shortest part to me in terms of the portioning.
Yeah.
And the reason is the way Oda wanted to leave the cliffhanger. So he left it at the end because he didn't want to reveal too much in this chapter. So leaving it at the end and ending it where it is making him not reveal too much that he doesn't want to reveal just yet. So it's more so what Oda is wanting to show now, rather than that's the only way I can see why he did that little and why he positioned it the way he did. But as a whole, it was mainly like, it was weird. The chapter when you like. I don't know, man. Just continue with what you said.
Yeah, but yeah, we already kind of got a basic idea there. Let's just go with the realization that the crew part felt the longest, and I feel like with the next chapter it's going to be a little different. Now I'm kind of stuck in between here. Like, is it going to be mostly the Sanji cooking with chiffon and pudding, and then that whole segment right there where they're actually baking the cake? We get like a good chunk of the chapter where that happens, and then maybe only a little bit of the crew this time, and then of course, you know, the same amount of time for Luffy versus Katakuri, but then Luffy has like a huge revelation at the end of the chapter, like, here's my ultimate technique. Mochi can't do everything, and then of course, you know, One Piece on break next week, and then right after that, Luffy reveals his next ultimate technique, and then that chapter right there is just going to be about Luffy versus Katakuri, like the main focus. So I think it's going to transition primarily, and then ultimately, like in the chapter after that, mostly everything's going to kind of go down, like kind of start making this little ending transition, and ultimately the chapter, the arc as a whole will end soon. So I feel like it could go either way, because we can't predict everything, but I think it's safe to say next chapter is probably going to be mostly the focus on either Sanji making the cake, or Luffy versus Katakuri. I personally wouldn't mind if it was Sanji making the cake and then Luffy having a huge revelation at the end of the chapter. I don't know. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Blake?
Me? I'm in the opinion that we're gonna see a lot of Luffy versus Katakuri, because I feel like we're gonna see a lot of it. Obviously, Oda's gonna bounce from point A to point B to point C, but I feel like we're gonna see a lot for it, because we're gonna see Luffy learn, because like all of this is all building up experiences. Like when you lose, you build up experience on what you shouldn't do, on what you can and cannot do, on what you can require and add on to yourself. So I feel like we're gonna see Luffy learning from all of this, because Luffy learns a lot. People think Luffy's stupid, but when it comes to fighting, he ain't stupid. He learns from his battles. He learns and he learns and he learns, and he's not afraid to take other people's technique and change it into his own. So when it comes to this battle, obviously I do feel like it's gonna be Katakuri smacking him left and right, Luffy still being persistent to get up, and then maybe something might click, or maybe Luffy might go, okay, I've had this. I know this is going to take a lot out of me. I know I cannot do this for a long time, but I need to do this, and I'm going to do this. So here's my trump card. Even though in recent chapters he's been having trump card after trump card after trump card. But who knows? Maybe Luffy's doing this on purpose. Maybe he realizes that styles do make fights, and since he has the style similar to Katakuri, he's got to do something to make things awkward for Katakuri. Like, it's gonna be different for the Cracker fight, because Cracker's a completely different style fighter compared to Katakuri. So Luffy has to fight in a different way to be effective. You know what I mean? So in terms of how things are going, it does seem like it's gonna be heavily based around how it feels like it's gonna be structured the same way, but obviously different things happening. A lot of people are not going to want to see. The chapter focused around Sanji baking the cake. That's gonna piss a lot of people off. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you, like, that's gonna piss a lot of people off. Like, you're gonna be seeing chapters getting rated 4 out of 10 if he does that. And Oda knows Oda won't do that. I don't think he will dedicate a whole chapter, dedicate a majority of the chapter to it. That would be so frustrating for the reader. But I do see what you mean, though. I do see what you mean, though. But you got anything else to add, or can we end off this video?
Yeah, I just want to come off right here. I don't think it's gonna be like the whole chapter, based on like just one thing, because I noticed it's not really Oda's style. He doesn't really, when an arc is at its climax like this, it's not just gonna be solely based on one thing. Like I remember, I don't know if I said this in last week's, but the Rob Lucci versus Luffy fight, that was basically like 10 chapters or so, but the chapters would range. Like some chapters would be like primarily focused on Luffy, you know, fighting against Lucci. Other chapters would be like Straw Hats versus CP9. Then other chapters, you know, something completely different. Whatever. So it's not gonna be like we're gonna get one chapter for an entire scene, segment, whatever. Oda likes to make these little transitions here and there, and that's just his writing style. I don't think he's really gonna change that. So I feel like, you know, we're still gonna get a little bit of Luffy versus Katakuri. Next chapter is just like, I don't know, like depending on how much we're gonna get, that's what's kind of getting people questioned. That's what's getting me questioned anyways. But yeah, that was basically the last thing I had to say. You can end it off here, Blick.
Okay, so make sure you check out the thing that the thing that I'm gonna link to the comment section about that kid, because I want you guys to go out there and support him the best you can. And if you can't, just show it to as many people as you can, because stuff like this that happens is very unfortunate and it's very sad to see happen to little kids like that. But that's the world that we're in. A lot of things happen, a lot of sad things happen. So like I said, make sure you check that out, and also check out Ninja's channel. The link to that will be in the description below. I highly recommend it. And yeah, let me just wrap up this video. So please comment and subscribe. I know I say this all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just saying, please like, rate, and enjoy this video. And yeah, this UK Trotler Brother will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.
Peace.